Hey everyone, Raphael here with American Homebrew Supply. Today we're going to be putting this beer into this keg over here. The process is pretty simple. I think a lot of people simply overthink it. This is my dry Irish Stout. I put it into secondary a couple of days ago. I'll be uploading a video about that. The reason why I put it in secondary is, see all that gunk at the bottom? Even after 2 weeks of primary fermentation, there's still a lot of stuff in the beer. So I usually like to let them sit for a little longer off the main yeast cake. The process of putting beer in the keg is actually pretty simple. I'm just going to go get my siphon and transfer it over. So just stay tuned and we'll go over this together. Okay, here we go. I'm going to remove the airlock. Place it right here. I'm going to put my siphon into my carbo and I'm going to aim for this back corner. All right. Bring it down gently. See. Find the corner. Let it settle. Now, one of the things that is kind of important is to make sure that you have enough hose to reach the bottom of the keg so that you minimize splashing. Okay? We want to do our best to not introduce any air into this beer so that it doesn't oxidize. All right? Pretty simple. I got my siphon in. Got the tube in, I got the keg clean and sanitized and it's below the level of the liquid. So when I go here and I pump, it should start flowing automatically on its own. There we go. Alright, we're a little bit more than halfway done and I just remember that I haven't taken a gravity reading. So I'm going to take this opportunity to do it. I'm going to pull this out gently, fill my tube, and without making too much of a mess, just return it back into the keg. Alright. You guys can see this. I had to figure out a way to do a better shot of this, but it looks like it's sitting around 1012, 1.012 or so, which is a great final gravity for an Irish Stout. All right, I think by calculations this should be about 3.9%. It's a light beer. It doesn't have a lot of alcohol despite the dark color. It should be refreshing, crushable, and really easy drinking. All right, I'll check in with you guys. We're almost done here. Actually, here's one thing that I do want to mention. When filling a keg, you want to look for the gas tube. There's a shorter dip tube here. You want to make sure that you fill below the level so that this tube is not under the liquid. If you look at your keg on the outside, there's usually a line that goes across it, and that more or less lines up with the dip tube. I'm not sure if you can see this in there or not. All right. Looks like we're all done siphoning. There's a tiny little bit of beer left in there, but we're not going to mess with that. We don't want to mess with that sediment. We don't want to transfer that over to our keg. Like I brought up earlier about the dip tube, you can see there, you keep the liquid below the level of the gas tube so that you can introduce gas without any issues. All right, now this is done. We just pull out the hose here. It's going to drip a little bit, so make sure not to make a mess. All right. Okay. Let's see. Get a better view. Alright, I'm just going to close up my lid. I like to hold it up, push down, kind of wiggle it around, make sure that it's sitting properly. I'm going to close my gas, and now one of the things that's very important to do is we want to purge the air out of this keg. There's a little bit of air sitting up top here that we want to purge out so that it doesn't affect our beer. I've set my regulator to 10 psi, and I'm just going to plug it in. You hear it flowing. Oh. There we go. All right, now I'm going to let go of the pressure. I'm going to let it fill up again. Again. I'm going to do this a couple of times, 3 or 4 times. Oh. Alright, after a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times, I should have displaced all the oxygen out of there. So I'm going to unplug my gas, and then this keg is going to go to the fridge. Once it's nice and cold, then I can force carbonate. But that's going to be a different video. That's all it takes to get your beer in it. Just get your siphon, transfer it over, make sure that you don't overfill the keg, put the lid in place, and then purge out all your oxygen. Alright, Rafael with American Homebrew Supply. Till next time.